That's what I'm naming the stream as I
No,
join
we don't
it.
either. We're just winging
Hey,
it.
hey, you know what? That's the best part about all of this is that you have no clue what's going on. That's the idea, right? Like you get a big long list of everything that we're going to go over, and it's not the same, right? So like
Right.
it's much better when you have no clue what's going on.
Yes.
So
There's no
So good
list.
to see you.
Yes.
Glad you're here.
and you're here without our leader's blessing. So hopefully I don't get in trouble for this.
Wow. You snuck me onto the show.
I'll go like this.
I did. I feel like
So if everyone gets fired, that's it.
I feel like
Straight
if
up Taylor
there's
Swift
anybody,
style.
if there's anybody that I could sneak on the show and be okay with, it's you. So
All right. Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So we were just talking about. You could go real quick because this is mainly an NFL show, but we just were talking about the college football playoff bracket, and I just want to know, like one question. You don't have to stay on it long. Do you think that the way that the current bracket is, the 12-team bracket, do you think it's in its final version, or do you think there's going to be tweaks to
Oh,
it?
there's definitely going to be tweaks. Yeah. The committee has always been very reactive. So sorry, I know you're going, but like I already have, I'm good on.
Yeah, you're good.
The committee is very reactive, and I think we all know this. And they never plan for the future. They plan to fix what happened last year. That's why they jumped from 4 to 12, and then they'll jump from like 12 to 16 because they're constantly tweaking. But and then they'll listen to whatever complaints people have from this year, and they'll try to, you know what I mean? So it's definitely, I don't know that it'll ever be in its final form because all the NCAA does is watch and see what happens. And then, I mean, that's why NIL is out of control because they're like, oh, I guess we should try to fix that. Yeah, no, maybe you should have had a plan before it started, Let's start with this. My biggest problem with them was there was 5 power conferences and they had 4 guaranteed spots. That was stupid to start with. And so,
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. And I was telling her that I think the only thing that should be guaranteed is conference champions, just because if they're going to have conference championships, you've got to have some sort of benefit. So I feel like that's the only thing that should be guaranteed. And then I think the rankings, I don't think they should be guaranteed a bye week. So, I mean, guaranteeing Boise State a bye week and Arizona State, I mean, to me, it should just be ranked 1 through whatever, right? I mean, if 12 gets knocked out, if your conference champion is 16, like Clemson or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it should be, in my opinion. But anyway, I digress. We were kind of past
the problem with the
so
conference champions is like you're kind of rewarding, and it's not the Big 12 or ACC's fault, but let's be honest, the SEC and Big 10 are just more competitive for sure, and you're kind of rewarding people, in that conference that can miss a lot. Plus, what's really happened here is like, because I like SMU, but and let's say Texas, if you name like the top 5 teams in each conference, like Texas played one of them, and I don't think SMU played any of them. And now you're like getting to a conference championships without having much result. All you did was make sure you didn't lose any of the games. So the whole thing is messed up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I love how everybody that is basically saying, SMU and Boise State shouldn't even be there because they haven't even played or they haven't beaten a top 25 team. Neither has Texas. Let's be real. Texas hasn't beat a top 25 team yet. So I mean,
Texas has slid under the radar because they're SEC. But like you said, name like the top 6 teams in the conference. They played Georgia twice.
Yeah,
and lost
exactly.
To them.
And lost.
And they didn't
to
play
them
any of the rest of them. So
right. Anyway, so the other thing that we were talking about, we were almost done talking about it. So you can give me your opinion. Bill Belichick heading to North Carolina. What are your thoughts about that?
So we were asked this last Thursday when it was first breaking. And I was like, that just sounds like a terrible idea. There's a reason why the older coaches are getting out of college is because nobody wants to put up with the recruiting high schoolers, recruiting transfer portal people, recruiting your own players, hoping they'll stay. Like, that just doesn't sound like a Bill Belichick kind of thing. Now, we've got more details, and it seems like how much control he wants.
Oh, yeah.
I see why he's doing it. Mm-hmm. But I'm like 2 to 3 years, and he's going to be like, this sucks. Like,
So Tisha, in case you haven't heard the details, apparently he gave them like a 400-page document calling for like a new coaching and retirement staff. He also demanded that his son, Steven, would be the next in line to serve as head coach after him. So we all know how Steven is and what kind of character that guy is. And then that's just crazy to me. Like, I mean, whatever. All those demands, it is what it is,
That's
man.
not the least bit narcissistic.
No.
Right. I don't know if he's going to be there long, especially if he's saying that his son is,
The coach in waiting, yeah.
Coach in waiting. He's essentially getting this job maybe to get back in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty old. He's, 72 years old? Like,
Yeah. I think he's 73, isn't he? Yeah.
I can't. It's kind of hard to believe that he would need a stepping stone to get back in the NFL.
Right.
Like, he doesn't need it. So I don't really know what his motivation is there, but other than to help his son.
Yeah. And that's what it seems like. For North Carolina, it's a great splash move. I don't blame you.
Huge.
You were probably falling behind in all the arms races and stuff, so I get that. But yeah, on his part,
yeah,
I just feel like the first time he yells at a kid and they jump in the transfer portal, he's going to be like, "What are we doing here?"
So before I move on, I think it's kind of funny. I wish Leslie was on here again because, like, obviously she's a massive Bill Belichick fan with her being her big Patriots fan. And she's also a Kansas Jayhawk fan. And so I'm sitting here thinking, now she's got to root for North Carolina as a Kansas fan? It's kind of tough.
He will not
tough.
like that. The only time I saw Leslie mad on the show was when we would tell her Bill Belichick was getting fired.
Right.
No, he's not.
Oh, yeah. She was
leaving.
I think she still thinks that he's the coach of the Patriots. So, I mean, that's anyway, so
we miss you.
yeah, we do. All right, well, let's head into our wrap up, and we'll kind of briefly go over the other people in the shows. The Rams, they outrun the Bills. What a game! What a game that was. The Rams, man, they look like they're coming back into their own. Getting guys healthy. And that offense, I mean, I didn't expect the Bills to give up 44 to them. So,
you score 6 touchdowns by your quarterback like that. You've got to win those games. You can't. Those are not games that you can waste.
Yeah. How do you feel? Yeah. How do you feel if you're Josh Allen breaking records and losing?
Yeah.
Man, like, that's a tough one now. I don't want to rag on him too much because Ben's not here. He's with his newborn baby, so we don't want to rag on him too much. So let's move on. Let's go ahead and rag on the Raiders because why not, right? I mean, hopefully Willie's watching. So I mean, they lose to my boy Baker and the Buccaneers. So it looks like they're emptying the tank for Shadir Sanders. Is what it looks like to me.
So, to me, that's a great, there was that question that was put out, do you believe in tanking or not tanking? And I was like, yeah, as long as you look like maybe you're trying a little and then you lose. Tanking in game 2 or 3, that's terrible. But this point of the season, one more win for the Raiders would be more detrimental to the future than anything, right? You have maybe 2 to 3 pieces that you actually want to keep, like Crosby, Bowers, everybody else, you should have got rid of Devontae Adams sooner than you did. And you just had to know Aiden O'Connell and the stash was not going to be the answer. So, yeah.
So this is what I thought. If we're talking about tanking, this was my thoughts this weekend. And I'll tell you why. Oh, no, you big dummy. You dummy. You big dummy. Dummy. That is for my own Jags, okay? Because we should be tanking, and we tried to tank and won 10-6 against Tennessee. Tennessee was not good enough to beat us when we were trying to tank.
Yes. And you beat a team that you're trying to tank against. So you doubly hurt yourself.
Yeah, what are we doing?
And the Jags are in the perfect tank position because they don't need to draft a quarterback. So if you get that 1 or 2, you either say, hey, who wants one of these 2 guys?
Yeah, trade me something.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
How you mess around and accidentally win? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, when you only
we
scored 10 points, you weren't trying very hard. The other team was just
Yeah,
trying even less.
that's my point. We were trying, man. I don't know what they did wrong to lose that game. Like it's kind of like a bizarro world. We kind of
Yes.
wanted to lose that one.
Yes.
Rough, man. Rough. It's just not good. Not good at all. And then we kind of talked about earlier, even though I don't really want to talk about it, but the doink heard round the world. Chiefs beat the Chargers 19-17.
Am I allowed to say I'd pick the Chargers for that game too?
Absolutely, you are.
You know better.
Sorry,
No better.
but I did. I did.
You know better.
But the sad thing is like you got to halfway through the fourth quarter, and you already knew how the game was going to end. It was like, yeah,
every person knew how it was going to end. And she brought up a good question before you came on. She said, "How much of this particular team, is it luck? How much of it? Because that word is thrown out because there is a lot of situations that they have been very lucky.
Is it luck or is it talent?
I mean, your skill, your record in one score games is amazing. Luck will only get you so far. The problem is you've got the best quarterback in the game. So all he's telling you is, hey, keep it close and I'll figure it out. Like the game they lose is, Josh Allen has to go get a touchdown and they push that score to 2. And they're like, okay, look, our offense is not enough firepower right now to come back from those kind of deficits. But if you can keep me close, I'll figure it out. So
that's exactly right. I mean, that's why.
I think we're still learning too. We've got some new toys, new people, D-Hop in it all the way. I'm such a fan of that.
D-Hop fit in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think it's just your defense is great. And like you said, you're losing pieces here and there in offense. You just rely more on the defense and Patrick Mahomes, like you could roll out 2 6th graders and a 9th grader, and he'd be like, all right, these are the routes I want you to run. These are the spots I want you to get open on. 6th graders, we don't want you to get hit, so stay near the sideline. When I throw it to you, catch it, we'll go out of bounds, and we'll figure this out. That's
right.
That's what Mahomes do.
Like, so here's a crazy stat for you, and I just seen this the other day. It's the what if NFL standings, right? And that means what if every one possession NFL game had the opposite result? Can you guess what the Kansas City's record would be?
What are they right now? 9-1 or 10-1?
They're 12-1.
So they would be like they'd have lost like 10 games, something like that, 9 or 10 games.
So their record would be 2-11.
Yeah.
If just one score games were flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2-11. Like that's how crazy.
I'm trying to think of what game did they blow somebody out in? Because it wasn't even the Panthers. So like what game did you guys have where it wasn't a one score?
Man, there's 2 of them. There's 2 of them out there somewhere.
Tisha, you're supposed to have this. Yeah, Tisha, you're supposed to know this.
I'm halfway in heart attack mode by the time the end of the game comes around anyway. So no, I should know that, but
have they already played the Raiders twice?
No, I think only once.
Is it only once? Because I thought they blew them out once, and then the second time was the fumble snap craziness that happened in that last game.
So the Saints was a 13-point, and San Francisco of all people was a 10-point.
Wow. I mean, that's another shocker right there. The San Francisco.
I would have lost.
By the way, my Jags would be the division champ at 8-5 right now if it were one score games flipped. Just so y'all know.
And to add insult to injury, that division is like not good. The Texans are not playing good.
No, they're not.
So the Jags, could get control of that easy, and then, maybe
that's why maybe that's why they want to keep winning. They could win out. If they win out, will they make it? They've done it before. Can we do it with Money Mac? I know you're a Money Mac guy.
What is y'all? E is eliminated, so you guys are officially eliminated.
Oh well, never mind. Then disregard everything I just said.
All hope just died right there.
Yeah, I usually do anyways, Bryan. No worries.
Wow.
just brutal. Just brutal. Listen,
yes. The man is suffering enough already.
Yeah, I mean, man, if it wasn't for basketball right now, I am suffering, boy. College football is rough season. Our biggest, brightest spot was tearing a new a-hole into Alabama and knocking them out of the playoffs. So.
Look, you invited me on this. Okay, last minute. I jumped on here. Like, what is this? Tisha
I'm kidding.
Crap, so you get me crap.
Good job.
We're moving on. We're moving on.
Thanks a lot. You guys were miserable and misery loves company. So you're like, if I'm gonna be miserable, everybody's gonna be miserable. So here you go, Alabama.
This is for you. This is for you, okay?
You could have at least given me nice weather at that game.
Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
I've never seen a 6-6 team talk so much crap. Like y'all have turned into Auburn.
No, we haven't. We don't talk that much crap.
Look, if your only thing to brag about this whole year is beating us, you are now Auburn. You are my little brother now. I will send you a Christmas card. Okay. It'll probably be filled with poop, but you'll get a Christmas card, and I'll call you little bro from now on. When I see you online, I'll go, "Hey, what's up, little bro? How are you doing? Have you talked to mom today?"
It's only 1 year, okay? We're not this bad usually, so.
Yeah, but like it's weeks after the game, and I'm still hearing it from you in air raid. So you guys are officially Auburn.
Okay, well, we'll take it, I guess, for now. I guess Auburn's better. I guess Auburn's better than Arkansas. So
that's not saying much.
I don't think she's really an Arkansas fan, though.
You don't think so?
No, she's a Kansas City fan. That's what you're gonna. Look, if you had given me a choice between Kansas City and Arkansas, I'm like, yeah, Chiefs, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's Razorbacks fan.
It's both of them were bad.
All right, you know what? I had to
turn a blind eye to the Razorbacks this year. I just had to go no.
All right, I'm gonna give you a couple of rapid fire questions. You ready? All right. So, Herb, if you could take one team to knock the Chiefs out of the playoffs, who you taking, Bills or Ravens?
Bills.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I can't trust the Ravens coaching staff to remember who Derrick Henry is on most days.
True.
To have a chance to knock out the Chiefs. So I'll give it to Josh Allen. And look, he's either going to beat them or throw 5 interceptions. There'll probably be no in between.
There you go. There you go.
You'll know. Second quarter, that's Josh Allen's 3rd interception. Oh, this game's over. You can flip off and turn something else.
That's funny.
Yeah.
All right. So here you go, Tisha. Here's yours. Who retires first, Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Good Lord. I think Aaron's a little bit like Belly. I think it's I think he's run his course. I would hope Aaron does, but I don't know. I'm a Kirk Cousins fan, so he might enjoy the time off and not getting knocked in the dirt, every Sunday.
He's had a rough couple of games, that's for sure. At least the last 4 has not looked good for Cousins. Hadn't looked good. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how much longer they stay in. I personally think that Rodgers does retire first, but Rodgers said he's coming back for another year. Like this year was not what he wanted, and he wants to come back another year. So, I mean, I think Rodgers.
Yeah.
Huh?
I was gonna say, if you're the Jets, I don't see what the benefit to bringing him back is. But
no, you could tell that he's lost a lot.
Yeah. And even when he plays good, the rest of the team does it now. So it's like, hey, I had that one good game. Yeah, but you had 5 bad ones before that. So
right. All right, here you go. Here's another one for you, Herb. All right, if you had one quarterback to start your NFL team rebuild, would you take Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield?
Joe Burrow.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah, probably more because of youth. Like, how old is Baker now?
Oh, he's not that much older than Burrow. I mean, he's like 2 years older. It's like 2 years older, maybe. Yeah, because he came out in like 2018 and Burrow was 2020. So I'm sure they're close. They're 2 or 3 years apart, maybe.
How old is Burrow, you think?
Burrow's probably what, 27, 26?
Yeah, they're only a year apart.
Year apart. See, I knew they weren't that far apart. So you can't use age.
Well, first off, I could use whatever criteria.
I agree with that. I agree.
I would still go Burrow. I'm not saying Mayfield is a bad choice, but if I'm talking about building a franchise and starting right now, I'm going Burrow. So
fair enough. My heart would take Baker. So
no, of course. But it's one of those like, hey, if I get second, that's fine. You just surround Baker with a good organization and good weapons, he's fine.
Okay. All right. Sub question to that. Let's take Burrow out. Baker or Jalen Hurts?
Hurts. He's much younger.
Well, okay. All right.
But see, your problem is you're building a franchise. If I needed to win like the Super Bowl this year, I love Jalen, but I'm taking Baker over him. Like if I was like, hey, we got one game coming up, but if I'm like, hey, over the next 5 years, can I get Jalen, his passing to where it needs to be, and I've got a good organization? Yeah, I would take Jalen.
All right.
Like, hey, I need you win next year. I'd be like, yeah, Baker's probably a lot farther ahead.
Fair enough.
It's not that much younger. You got 26, 28, and 29. It's not.
I don't know these guys. Look, I'm like old as dirt, so I can't remember all these people's ages.
All right. Well, before I give Tisha her last question here, since we're talking about ages here, you know that Trevor Lawrence was in high school the same time that Cam Rising was in high school, and Cam Rising is getting another year of college.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah. And then, my only question with Cam Rising is, does like his AARP benefits kick in on this last year, or can you not get them both?
I can't wait for him to commit to somewhere, because when he commits to somewhere, I'm gonna have to tweet out and be like, "Damn it, Home Depot lost a good manager in this, like, or something, like."
The tweet back, I was always a little guy.
Or you'd have to use like a Quick Trip, because they tweet a lot. I'd use Quick Trip, be like, Quick Trip lost a good one here. Something like that. Anyway. Yeah. All right, Tisha. Better Christmas movie, A Christmas Story or Home Alone?
Oh, Christmas Story for sure.
Which one grossed more money?
Try out.
Which one's
I actually don't know which one did.
I would think Home Alone, but I don't know.
Yeah, Home Alone is the number one gross Christmas movie ever.
Yeah, I feel like Home Alone is a movie that you'll play any time of the year, and here's the story you're playing like at Christmas is when it gets it. But we just watched. One of my nieces wanted to watch Home Alone, so we watched it like last month. So
yeah,
I feel like it's a kind of pop up anytime kind of movie.
Right.
The movie produced the world's most famous lamp. Are you kidding me? That's the lamp known around the world. So.
All right. Well, all right. So let's talk a little notes around the league real quick before we do the look ahead. So which fan base is more upset right now? Jets fans, 49ers fans, or Cowboys fans?
Man. Do you want me to go first, Tisha, or do you want to answer?
Go
well,
ahead.
I'll just give a short answer.
Okay.
I would say the Cowboys fans, because they've been mad for 20 years. So why is that going to change now? Everybody else has a chance. At least there's always next year. So we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
They're only mad at the end of the season.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Jets fans, because now you're at 14 years, the longest drought, not having made the playoffs. And Dallas said they were going all in and they didn't. So that was kind of like false. The Jets actually kind of went all in and have catered to every single need that their quarterback wants and managed to fail. And then your offense isn't doing good. You fire your defensive head coach. Your defense starts failing, and now they're like, I have no idea. Go get another wide receiver. And they do that. It's like, so at least Dallas right now, before the Dak injury, they were like, look, we didn't go all in. What's wrong with our owner? Now they're like, oh, we just have so many injuries. It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. So here's my take on it. Jets fans, yes, as they had high expectations, I feel like they're just used to this. So they're like, once it got to a threshold, they're not mad anymore. They're like, whatever. This is the Jets. It's being a Jets fan, And then Cowboys fans, I feel like they're mad every year around this time. Like they're happy at the beginning of the year because they think they're going all the way. And then they get around this time or, first round of the playoffs, and then they're pissed off. So it's about the same, with the Jets. They're just used to this by now. Because I would say that the 49ers fans got to be more upset. And the reason why, they were in the Super Bowl last year. And it wasn't like they lost a ton of people on that roster. Like, yeah, they've got a couple of injuries here and there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, though. You lose C-Mac. I'll say this. It's semantics, I guess, but I'll say Jets fans are upset and 49ers fans are disappointed. And so it's not like necessarily mad at anybody, but they're like, and we talked about this before the season. They're in a spot where they're about to have some other you're going to have to play your boy Purdy soon, and that's going to squeeze the rest of the team. You couldn't really afford to throw away a year, and that's what they did. And then think about the Brandon Ayuk saga. You hold out, you get back right before the season starts, you drop every pass that comes your way for weeks, and then you're hurt for the rest of the year.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
That sums up the 49ers season.
Yep, it sure does. It's I don't know, man. I feel like Niners fans, it just, to me, if I was in their shoes, like, yes, your expectations go a little bit down, but then when you start to see that, Jordan Mason's running well, and, I feel like the expectations start to come back up a little bit. And, Kittle's been playing well all year, so it wasn't, I don't know. To me, it feels like I'd be really pissed off as a Niners fan. And honestly, I don't know who they're more pissed off about than, is it their head coach? Are they ready to call it quits with their head coach now? Because I know that even after losing the Super Bowl, there was talk about should he be on the hot seat, for losing 2 Super Bowls basically.
Yeah, it's tough to say because you make the Super Bowl, but you go and look at specifically how that third quarter unfolded in the Super Bowl, and 8 of your first 9 plays are all pass plays when you've got, arguably the best running back in the league. And you're thinking, why are we putting our, Mr. Relevant quarterback in the spot where now all of a sudden, and that's I don't have the hate for Purdy that you do, but he's not going out and winning you games. His job is not to lose games,
To me, this is beautiful what the Niners are doing, just because I can't stand Purdy. So I love it. But anyway, and Mike McCarthy should be fired. Like, he should have already been gone.
Yes.
We don't need to talk about that. He should have already
started
been
the year. Yeah, he should have started the year.
They shouldn't have started the year. And then even after that, like this last game, the punt, they block a punt and don't recover it, and the other team recovers it for a first down. I don't know.
Not even the recovery. They muffed it. If they had stayed away, they were fine.
Correct. Yeah, they didn't even have to touch it, but they muffed it, and then and you lose the game because of that. Like, it's just a lot of badness around the Cowboys. They need to really, they're never going to win with Jerry Jones there. And even after he's gone, his son takes over, and they won't win one after that. Yeah. So they're done for a while. But
he's a great talent evaluator. Up until this year, he would get them great talent. But how many players that leave describe the place as a circus? Like, you have a bad environment around them, and that's what's wrong.
Yep, I agree.
And Teshia, nothing for a team sport.
Right, Teshia. Should the Vikings give Sam Darnold a long-term deal?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I think there's just still more to prove there, honestly. What do you think?
What do you think, Herb?
No. I mean,
no?
And I was one. We were actually on a show where we argued with the host, and we were like, I think Sam Darnold will play well this year. I think he's probably got the best weapons he's ever had in his, granted. I was like, what about San Francisco? Well, he didn't start at San Francisco, but
Right.
Jets and Carolina, this is one of those things. But you saw enough from JJ McCarthy that you were about to make him the starter, or at least push for the starter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm riding that rookie contract before I give Darnold.
Yeah. It's a business at this point, And you're right. You're right. Darnold is he's shown a lot,
right?
But I, and he actually has done himself a favor more than he has Minnesota, because he's going to get a deal somewhere else where he will be the starter. I think he will get a long-term deal. I just don't think it's going to be with the Vikings.
I agree.
So
I agree. And there's whoever drafts, a Shador or Cam or whatever, could probably use his services for a year and let those guys sit.
Yep.
Like or whoever picks up. I mean, my boy Milroe, if he does go, one of those kind of guys. That's a place where I would love to have a Darnold. Probably anybody after the first two, I'd probably love to have Darnold there and like, look, you're at least going to get a year, kind of like with JJ McCarthy. And we want to bring along the other guy.
How crazy is it, though? We may not have ever even seen what Darnold could do if McCarthy didn't get hurt. Because, like you said, they were going to start him. So it's kind of crazy how things worked out for him, because his stock just skyrocketed all by chance because J.J. McCarthy got hurt. It's just kind of a wild situation there in Minnesota. Is Bryce Young done in Carolina?
No, I think he's done enough in these last couple games. It's almost been the perfect storm for Carolina. Bryce Young is playing well enough to where you want to give him another year, and they've lost. So it's like, thank you guys. We're doing almost everything right. Like we're getting on Leggett for dropping that pass, but it's probably the best situation. You know that you could have won, but you probably want the loss. And it's another one of those, hey, we probably have a lot of holes to plug. If we get a high draft pick, it's not the worst thing in the world to try to draft back. But he's doing all this, with Thielen as his best wide receiver. And that's not, you know what I mean? And losing running backs left and right, and the running backs he does have are fumbling, so I feel like, but it's not fair to ask me. I'm, obviously I'm going to be a little biased towards him, but I can admit that when he wasn't playing well earlier, I think he's playing better now. Also, this draft class with only 2 quarterbacks. Sorry, but I'll stop right there.
No, you're good. You're good.
I wouldn't reach for anybody else after those 2. So if I'm sitting on a 3 or 4 spot, I don't think it's worth a trade up. I'll just keep Bryce and we'll ride this out another year. If he regresses again, you're set up for next year to draft somebody else. But I don't believe in anybody after those two.
I think you're right. I think that at this point, he didn't look good. Then he got benched. And since he's come back, he has looked better. In fact, Carolina as a team looks better, even though they have the record that they have. Like you said, it's a perfect storm. I think they're one of the better teams with that record, right? Out of all the teams that have their record, they look right now like they've got something to build towards. And instead of going out and having to restart at quarterback, go out and get him some weapons, I know they did with Leggett, but go out and get him some more, right? He needs more weapons somewhere, regardless. So, no, I don't think
your number one record with your number one wide receiver with Leggett drops passes. Like, I don't know where they keep finding wide receivers who can't catch, but this is like becoming
I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Teshia.
Yes.
Since you are a Kirk Cousins fan, big fan of Cousins, should the Falcons, they've lost 4 games straight and he hasn't looked great. Is it time that he's out and Michael Penix Jr. starts the rest of the season?
Yeah, I hate to say this, I guess frankly, but I like Kirk Cousins more as like a person and a team leader, and he's a really good player. But yeah, I don't know. I think that ship might have sailed, but it doesn't hurt my feelings because it gives him way more time to go to Kohl's and buy flannel shirts. So, gotta get that Kohl's.
I think that the Falcons technically are still in the hunt for the playoffs. And so
only because of their division. They're game back. They're 6-7.
Back from Tampa Bay
is 7-6. So
correct, yeah. And Tampa Bay is surging up now that they've got Mike Evans back.
Right.
So I mean, if you went to go, it'd be a very bold move to start a rookie when you're still technically in the hunt for the playoffs.
Agreed.
So that's just kind of and since we're talking about the Falcons, we're just going to roll into the look ahead for Week 15. And the look ahead for Week 15, the Desmond Ridder-led Raiders get to play his old team, the Atlanta Falcons. What do you think? What do you think, Herb?
First off, I didn't even realize that was so. One of the things I do is I listen to podcasts of the losing teams every week. You know, college, or like especially if you had heartbreak, because I like to hear what people are talking about. So I happen to be listening to the Raiders one. That's how I found out Desmond Ridder was. But I said, I don't even know how. What did you pick him up just for this?
Right.
You know, I mean, you're either getting 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, or 99 yards and 3 interceptions. It feels like there should be no mediocre game from him. But your spot with the Raiders, you know you're not keeping him long term. If you draft a quarterback, you probably have seen enough to where you like Aiden O'Connell as your backup as long as he can stay healthy for more than 2 games. Minshew's not the guy. Ridder, you don't want to give a contract to. So just go out there and just don't look stupid. But we're really not. If he throws 2 touchdowns, they're probably going to pull him. I'm like, hey, this does not fit what we need to do this week.
That's a really, really good strategy you have on the podcast that you listen to. That way you never have to listen to a Chiefs one.
Yes. I don't even know if there is a Chiefs one. I don't know what they do. I see you guys just sit
they don't
around
lose.
and drink beer every week.
There's that.
Yeah, we're the champs.
Right. Ooh.
Sorry, can't help you in that area, buddy.
Oh, man.
I have never listened to a Chiefs one. I don't even know if you guys know what it's like to lose.
Know what it's like to have heart attacks.
All right. Listen. For Willie, just for Willie, I'll say it. I hate them.
I mean, I don't root for them, but you got to respect greatness, like.
Yeah.
All right.
You sure do miss hearing that, though. Good job.
So Ben's not here, but we'll touch on their game because it's a big one. I don't know if you know, but Ben is a Bills fan, and they are at Detroit this weekend.
That's
battle. This is my mid-season. I can't say it beginning because it would be lying. My mid-season pick for the Super Bowl was the Bills Lions. So this is the preview for that.
My preseason, I think, was Lions Ravens, and a lot of our panel liked the Lions, so I can see that one.
I'm pretty sure I picked Lions in the Super Bowl to beat the Chiefs. Honestly, was like what I did at the preseason, and now I've got Bills, Lions, and Super Bowl. So anyway, that game is happening this weekend. Bills coming off that loss. Detroit just keeps winning. So and unlike Kansas City, Detroit keeps winning and winning impressively every week.
I like when your trash talk is we've got down to, hey, you don't look great every time you win. Like,
right.
We got.
His vocabulary is growing ever so slightly. I love it.
You look like trash every time you win.
Yeah. Knowing
I'd rather an ugly W. I'd rather an ugly W.
Oh, yeah.
Than a pretty loss.
Every team in the league would be like, yeah, I'd rather have that. Wait, so they're going to the Super Bowl by looking terrible? That's fine. Who do we need to cut to get to that level?
You always say you want that loss because it fires the team up and it gets them going, right?
It does.
Well, we're getting close.
Yeah,
we're getting close to that point where that loss isn't going to fire them up. They're going to be out of the playoffs. Because that loss is coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
We have the one. Hey, we have the one. We got it out of our system. All right, come on now. I think we're gonna be
anyway.
We're gonna be okay.
What do y'all think on this game on Bills Lions? Who's winning this game? It's at Detroit.
Bills.
I'm taking Lions. Yeah, I'm taking Lions. That's who I root for more. So a lot of my if you ever look at my pick'ems, you want to know why they're so bad. I pick with my heart more than my head a lot of time.
Right.
But
Well,
I don't know that I'm picking against Detroit for the rest of the year. You know what I mean? They're just finding ways. Like you said, when they are the go for the kill kind of team. You know, like, hey, we're up 20, let's get up 30. You know?
Right.
And I think that's what you have to do.
They will literally do whatever it takes and score as many points as they want. Dan Campbell does not care. He has that his give a F meter is like up here. Like he just doesn't care. And so Josh Allen's special. He's amazing. I think with this game in Detroit, I think Detroit wins this. I think if it was in Buffalo, I think Buffalo could probably surprise them and catch them if it was in Buffalo and it was cold in the elements. So,
but the thing about Detroit is they start with their running game and that travels and their defense. The back line was bad early. Yeah. You know, even my boy Terrion, he looked terrible out there at times. They're slowly getting better. So I think that's what's going to keep them in it. So, no, I agree with you. Buffalo would have the advantage at home, but I feel like Detroit's a team that can travel into that for sure. So,
yep, absolutely. All right, we'll move on to Leslie's just because we have to cover it. Patriots at Arizona. My son's not watching, but he's a big Cardinals fan, so I might as well do this for him and say I'm going to take the Cardinals in that game to beat the Drake May-led Patriots. It's at Arizona as well.
Yep.
So we don't need to talk about it much at all.
New England's in a great spot. I'll just say that. You need to lose this game, and you've already got your quarterback of the future. That's excellent for you.
It is. No, they're in a great spot.
Go get them a wide receiver. Any wide receiver.
Yeah, right. So then we got Chiefs heading to the Browns, heading to Cleveland. Hopefully it's snowing like crazy so that we can have some crazy outcome because there'll be some weird outcome.
Don't go there. He's a snow game guy.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Give me Jameis Winston to pull the upset this weekend. Give me famous Jameis Winston. He's pulling the upset. The luck is running out this weekend. It's running out. It has to.
I'm not going to say for the upset, but I am going to say that Jameis will be the most entertaining thing in this. He is guaranteed to throw more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes. Now, will they all go to the Browns? No. That's going to be the problem. But I'm going to say you're getting like 4 touchdowns out of Jameis. It's just going to be like 2 and 2, and that's going to be the problem. But he will definitely. That is my lock. Jameis Winston throws more touchdown passes than Patrick Mahomes this weekend.
No style. I like it.
Yeah, no specifications on what team they go to.
All right, let me write this one down. Let me take this note real quick. Hold on. Fair enough. All right. Well, Teshia, what do you think? What's your outcome of that game?
Of our game?
Yeah.
You already know what we're talking about now? Mm-hmm. You already know what I'm going to say. Chiefs by 1 million. Or
I just had to
probably just 1. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with 1 or 1 million. It really doesn't matter as long as it's 1+.
All right.
I'm good with it. So it'll be entertaining. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it'll be a good game just because it's in the dog pound, and I mean Jameis has at least gotten them to the point where they can be somewhat competitive in games. So it'll be a competitive game hopefully. Now we come to the game of the week. All right, game of the week. Jets at Jaguars.
I was gonna say, how was it not Buffalo and Detroit? Like
what?
Wow.
I'm gonna pull a second. They're both gonna lose. So
the Jets are gonna win because they're going to try to win. Yeah. And the Jags are gonna try Mac Jones out there and try to throw little 5-yard outs and try not.
Can the Jaguars be successful at tanking against the Jets? Is the question.
I think they do this week. The Jets will try to win because
don't mess up and win again.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
And the Jags will be perfectly fine with it. They're like, okay.
Yeah, we probably will, unfortunately. Yeah. But I would hate to lose to the Jets. We're both eliminated from the playoffs, so this could be the ugliest game all weekend. Like both teams trying to lose. And it'll end up being it'll be an entertaining game. Watch.
I don't think the Jets will try to lose. I think they'll trot Aaron Rodgers out there. He doesn't have many games left, so he's gonna try to win this game. So it can actually be a blowout. Yeah, and like I said, the Jags just won't care. Like, okay, so
let's try to make it somewhat respectable. You know, like I don't want to get blown out. Money Mac is not going to get blown out. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
I'm rooting for you.
Don't root for us. We need to lose.
That's what I'm saying. I
don't catch it.
J-E-T.
I was saying, I hope you lose. I got your back.
Fumble. Like, you have the ball. I know. Fumble.
So yeah, that was the look ahead. We got probably a little bit of time here, just barely. Herb and I are both in the playoffs in the fantasy football league that Herb so graciously allowed me in. And now I'm in the playoffs, ready to destroy him and destroy anyone that gets in my way.
Bryan claims to be my friend, but he favors Raj. Like, you should see our group text
together.
They're all love to Raj and pick Raj, ditch Herb. I mean, it's like I can't win with this. But you need somebody to come on the show. Hey, Herb, can you come on the show?
Yeah, well, you know. Like, yeah, don't tell Raj, okay, but I can't say I'm too afraid to say it. You're my favorite.
Why did I have a question mark at the end? If I was
recorded?
There's a question mark at the end of that statement.
That had to save me a little bit. Oh man! All right, well that's pretty much it. I've never hosted before, so this was a first time for everything, I guess.
This was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You did a much better job than whoever the host was before.
Yeah, well, he hates them, by the way. Yeah, all right.
I don't think I know whoever the new people are, but they suck. You were the greatest, man.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts?
NFL wise, man, we're getting down to the nitty gritty, man. So I'm enjoying these last games, and I'm liking how competitive it is at certain spots. You know, like Detroit's out here lost one game, and it's still super competitive, even in their own division. And then with Philly chasing, so I love that. And you know, same with the Chiefs. You've lost one game, and you're still like, all right, we got to keep winning to make sure we get home field. So it could be interesting races. Although you've seen it's like we're down to maybe 4 or 5 contenders, like for real. Like teams you actually think can win this whole thing.
Right.
And you've probably eliminated whole divisions.
Fair enough. Yeah. Teshia, any final thoughts?
Yes.
No?
3.
Oh, my.
3. 1, 2.
And we were in suspense too. We were like, oh, what?
Yeah, I know. Like, what's going All right. I give my final thoughts on the Chiefs' luck and on them winning their 3rd Super Bowl.
No chance. That's what you got. No chance. That's what you got.
That's my final thought. And final thought question, Herb, before we get out of here. Who wins, Alabama or Michigan, in the bowl game?
Alabama. But it's kind of like one of those, Michigan had their Super Bowl. They've already bought their quarterback for next year. I would not be shocked if I mean, they're going to play great defense against us. So it'll really depend on does Milroe play and do we actually score a couple touchdowns. But I can't imagine Michigan cares all that much about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see how Alabama would care much about it either, especially being so upset at not making the playoffs. So I could see them not being. So it's going to be an interesting game because I don't think either team really is going to be like.
I think the guys, and this is where the opt-out kind of stuff like plays through. Like if Milroe opted out, I wouldn't mind because then you kind of look at the other guys, and then I think that game actually becomes more competitive at that point. Right. Like if Ty Simpson starts, he's like, "Look, I got to start holding off the guys for next year. You're going to see my best." versus
Yep.
we all know with Milroe, we have no idea if you get good Milroe or bad Milroe.
Right. I understand. I get it.
But you are right.
I appreciate it, Herb. I appreciate everything that you do and your show. I love your show. If anybody doesn't know, go ahead and plug it. Herb, plug it. Plug your show.
Oh, sorry. Herb and Raj podcast. Every Tuesday nights we go live 8 p.m. Central Time. Mostly college football, but we dabble in other sports. But that's why I enjoy coming on these shows, man. I miss talking about NFL, so it's always good to come on here. And you'll see us on Twitter there too. There's our Twitter handle at Raj Herb. The only time we ever put Raj first.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everybody else that was watching, and we'll catch you next week.
Have a good week. Bye.